Welcome and good evening to the October meeting for the Open Space Greenways Committee. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In your package that you have is a copy of the minutes of the September meeting, and in addition to that, there is a revision to the second page where it starts with substitute item number 7, minutes of Open Space Committee, September 3rd. So I would like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Again.
Approve. Thank you. Are there any revisions to the agenda, either additions or deletions? Anybody? If not, we'll continue with the reports. With the township, Carl, any news?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am pleased to report that we have a closing date on the purchase of the Tittle property on Ferry Road. It is anticipated that the closing on that will occur within the next 10 days. That will complete and resume the trail from Gage Road to Ferry Road, and it is anticipated that will allow us then to move through the comparatively dry season in October to begin work with the trail on TNT. And that is something that's exciting. It is very, very close, and we are very, very close to having that property brought into the open space fold. On a personal note, there was very limited amount of property that was available on Ferry Road for that, and I wish to thank Michael Tittle, and I think everyone here would join me in thanking Michael Tittle for making that available to us. We thank you. We appreciate what you've done. It's a fair price, and it's a big addition to the community. So, Michael, on behalf of the entire commission, thank you for making Grosseille a better place to live and for allowing us to enjoy the open space that much more.
Thank you very much, Carl. Anything else?
No, sir. That concludes my report.
Bert, the Nature and Land Conservancy.
The GINLC has a couple events coming up this fall. On September 27th, we'll be talking about the nature of Halloween at the Gibraltar Bay unit of the refuge, and that'll be at 1 p.m. Then on November 2nd at 6:30 p.m., we'll be having our annual Owl Prowl, where families can come and learn about owls, dissect an owl pellet, and then we'll be going out of doors to call in owls and see who we can listen to it that evening. And then on Saturday, November 9th, is the GINLC annual meeting, which is 10 a.m. at the Grosseille Golf and Country Club. So I hope to see lots of residents at all of those 3 events.
Thank you very much, Bert. From the Recreation Department, Kyle.
Sorry, I was absent at the last meeting. I just had our first baby, so it's kept me a little busy. But here now, happy to be here. Lots happening with the Recreation Department, lots happening for Halloween. The biggest thing that's coming up is Saturday, October 19th. There's a costumes and cocktails masquerade at the farms, $25 per person, starts at 7 p.m. We'll have bonfires, hay rides, costume contests, DJ dancing, appetizers, and a cash bar. It'll be part of fundraising for recreation and for all of us here on the island. But lots else happening on Macomb Street and in other places for Halloween, including in Westcroft Gardens, where we have our annual Halloween hay rides as well. The biggest thing I wanted to report back to the Open Space Commission about was the sled hill. There's been a little bit of back and forth on that I wanted to speak about. Initially, the Recreation Commission voted in July, I believe, in favor of removal of the sled hill, partly because we thought there was a grant that needed to be submitted pretty quickly for $50,000 to make it happen. Turns out that the grant actually is extended for a year, and it's a little bit more, $60,000. So that actually, I think, is a good thing. It gives us more time to think about all this, et cetera. But discussions about the sled hill have been going on for a very long time, starting with the rec master plan back in 2015 that was updated, I believe. It started in 2011, which suggested possible removal of the sled hill to make space for sports and other things in that area. When the opportunity came, the Rec Commission voted for it. I said at the time, I knew not many people used it, but it'd be hard for people just because of the idea of losing something like that and people having fond memories there. And I said at the time also that I think there might be possibilities for other places to put the sled hill or other ways to kind of make that happen. I still stand by those comments, but since then I think there's been a little bit more controversy around it. As these things are, it's hard to keep up with the commission, even though we've been discussing it for a year. It's hard for people to go to meetings, see all these things, and still it starts becoming real. So I'll repeat what I said at our last rec meeting here, is that folks that have used a sled hill or want to use a sled hill, I really encourage them to come before the rec commission and let us know. There's a lot of folks that have opinions, but the most important feedback are folks that are actually using it and that are using it for sledding in the winter or walking up and down in the summer. Hearing from those folks will help recreation figure out another way to make that happen for people. But right now, everything we've seen is that not a lot of people use it compared to other uses of that space. So I think we're still going to try to find something, but again, the more people that tell us that use it, I think the better for all of us. So I just want to put that out there for everyone.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Appreciate it. Beautification Committee, Pam?
Well, we've had a summer work schedule maintaining the flower beds in 3 of the 4 corners. The Garden Club handles the southeastern corner. And our president or chair is Brian Medved, who teaches at the middle school. And he's back in school now, and we haven't had our first fall meeting yet, but we'll probably have one coming up. So I don't have anything to report from any action item, except we are maintaining the flower beds.
Thank you very much, Pam. GROSSE schools. Emma, could you enlighten us on what's happening with...
So in July, 3 of our club's members volunteered to help out with the children camp that the Herb Society hosted, and we helped out with making the crafts. The second thing our club has been focusing on is recycling, and we've had a strong turnout each week, every Thursday. And upcoming, on October 12th, we will be volunteering to help out the Herb Society with helping children with Halloween crafts such as pumpkin painting and reading stories.
Thank you very much, Emma. And Emma, you might want to mention to I believe it's the cross-country team, that the trail that runs from Gage all the way through Ferry was set for construction this fall. I don't know whether it'll be finished in time for the cross-country team to use it, but everything's been, all the I's have been dotted and the T's crossed. So if you could get that information to the cross-country team, I'd appreciate it.
I'll let them know. Thank you.
Thank you. From BPAC, I have a report here from Dan Jaster, who is one of our committee members, but is on a special assignment doing some consulting work for a company called Ford Motor Company. So he couldn't be here this evening, but he did give me a brief write-up, and let me just convey it to you. They have finished the maintenance work on the 3 of the bike path bridges. The contractors will be beginning work on the asphalt bike path maintenance shortly. The walk school day is tomorrow, October 2nd, at Park Lane, Meridian, and the middle school, and we encourage your kids to walk the bike path to school, and be careful when driving.
Mr. Chairman, I have one addition to that. There is a recent correction on the walk to school because of the rains forecasted for tomorrow, Wednesday, October 2nd. That date was this afternoon moved from Wednesday to Friday, October 4, because of the inclement weather that's anticipated and expected for the area. Everything remains the same, just kick it forward 48 hours.
Okay.
And that is a very, very recent change in plans that came through to my office just late this afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much. And now the commission is also working with the police commission on an educational program called Walk and Roll. We will be passing out bike lights and bracelets for folks to light the night and be safe. Rebecca Kung is our newest member of the commission. The commission has 2 other positions opening up, so interested parties should get their applications to the Township Hall as soon as possible. And then the commission continues to look into a bike path connecting Meridian to Jefferson, likely via Bellevue to connect to Water's Edge along the way. So that concludes the report coming from the Bike Path Commission. Okay. The next item is that we open up the floor for any comments for anybody that's here. All I see is this one person, and we'll be giving her a chance to talk in just a couple of minutes. Project status, the welcome letters. John, how are we coming on that? You might want to explain what that is.
Yes, it's been going on for a number of years, and I guess it falls to the secretary of the committee to do it, but all new residents to the island are sent a letter of welcome and a copy of the nature guide. There were none so far this month. They'll be going out within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
We had 54 the last time, as you may recall.
Okay, we're talking. We just finished talking about the trail extension for the Ferry Trail. TNT is waiting in the wings for formal approval on the purchase of that piece of property, and is all set to begin work on the trail. So the minute that the signature is affixed to the paper, Tom from TNT will be ready to go to work.
I do want to say that there are some wildflowers on that property that we would like help with digging up and either holding until the trail is done and replanting, or finding another home for them, because I would hate to think that that those plants would just be destroyed during the construction. So you can contact me. That's Roberta Urbani. I'm in the directory if you're interested in helping out, and we will kind of work. I'm planning to work with the Garden Club and Grosseille Nature and Land Conservancy, and maybe hopefully the high school group, to identify those while they're still identifiable. So we gotta do that before the leaves all disappear.
Bert, would you like me to get in touch with TNT to make sure that they don't damage any of those wildflowers that still might be in existence when they begin their work?
Yeah, give them a heads up.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we'll try and get there before.
Okay.
Kyle, maybe you guys can help with that.
Okay. As far as the action items is concerned, I mentioned the fact with Carl's good news on the ferry trail that we're going to begin work on the ferry trail extension very, very soon. Tom, who owns TNT,
tree removal service will be constructing that trail. Another item that we have in the waiting in the wings is to outline the trail extension for in the Meridian Manchester Woods area, and we should begin to at least get an idea as to where we want that trail to go, and maybe to map it out to see that it's properly planned. That trail is planned to go from the existing trail out through on Park Lane, I believe. So we'll be working on that, and we want to get the input from the residents and plan exactly the location of that particular trail. The next item is that we are very, very pleased to formally announce the recommended appointment of Teresa Weeks to the Open Space Greenways Committee. And Teresa, I'm going to put you on the spot right now if you want to come up and just say a few words into the microphone. We had an opening, and we interviewed a candidate who we found very acceptable, and the only thing we have to do now is the Township Board is to put their final approval onto our recommendation.
Awesome. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the Open Space Committee. I look forward to doing lots of I look forward to doing.
The button there.
Yeah, I am pressing.
This is a test. We'll have you start over.
I look forward to doing lots of good improvements in open space, and working with all you good folks to make that happen. So thanks for allowing me to be part of the committee.
Okay, now you will be assuming a final approval from the Township Board. We have our meetings, as you well know, the first Tuesday of the month. So we'll be having a meeting in November.
Okay.
7 o'clock here in the Township Hall.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Carl, is there any progress or any further conversation that's due on the millage proposal for the open space maintenance program?
I am planning on sitting with Ann Darsnick, the township's financial director, and get an idea from her as to what she thinks the best date on that would be. We do have a number of bond millages that are going off in the next 5 years. We're certainly not going to wait that long, but that is an excellent opportunity to relieve the burden on the taxpayers, at the same time putting money into open space repairs and being able to take care and steward the property more appropriately. Those bonds, we just had one that went off from the airport, and we're also looking at, I believe it's 2025 with Water's Edge, and we have several that'll be between now and then that will make the burden on the taxpayer lighter and easier, and will provide an opportunity, hopefully, for us to be able to pass a millage for stewardship of the open space.
Thank you. Are there, that takes care of just about everything. I'd like to start off way down at the, let's see, left-hand side. Kyle, anything you'd like to add?
Nothing further to add. Happy to be here.
Okay. Pam?
Nothing further.
Nothing here.
Carl?
I've seen pictures of Alexander deBeausset, and he is absolutely beautiful. Good work, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And again, on a very serious note, our thanks to Michael Tittle for making this island a better place to live and enjoy. Thank you, Michael.
Nothing further.
Okay, and don't forget, make sure that the cross-country team, I think they want to use that as part of their runs, do they not, in the fall?
They run everywhere, so I'm sure they'll.
Okay.
Yes.
Bert?
Today's my birthday. I'm 65.
Happy birthday!
So I want to go celebrate with my husband. So I move to adjourn.
That's right. I have a lot of things to say, Bert. So I'll try to stifle. I know the meeting is short, but the good things don't take long to say. And again, Teresa, welcome aboard. Thank you very much for volunteering. Do I have a motion?
I have a postscript.
Yes.
I thought it would be worth mentioning, in fact, I did in my column that I write for the Grand, that Alexander deBeausset is the 9th generation of the Macomb brothers.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I have nothing, so in deference to John, Bert, the meeting is adjourned.
Happy birthday, Bert.